As we think about identity, we want to think about what stabilizes and strengthens our Christ-centered identity. And so we've been talking about the four different aspects of what disciples do. The disciples have a priority. There's a priority of the discipleship was Christ first, not me first. There's a place of discipleship, which is about training and not trying. There's the pace of discipleship, which is about walking, not running. And then the practice of discipleship, which is about receiving, not achieving. So in that receiving, not achieving, I'm going to receive from God. But until I regularly experience the presence of God through the truth of His Word and prayer, my interaction with Him, I will feel like my spiritual identity is a little bit elusive. The more time I spend absorbing His presence, His purposes, the more they transform my identity so it's robust and strong and stable. Remember, all of us are looking to create stability in our lives. And so we look to artificial things to create stability. We fantasize to create stability. We want something to make us feel like we're able to navigate life with a good sense of self. That's your identity. That's what you identify with most. It's the story you tell yourself about yourself the most. So at the core of that is this sense of something driving us, something moving us forward. And whatever's driving you is what you are in pursuit of for your identity. If you're driven to addictive compulsive behavior, then you are trying to mitigate yourself away from the negative messages that your brokenness tells you, because we're talking about brokenness this week, right? So the more I can recognize the brokenness and the intricacies of my brokenness, the more I can let go of those messages and reprogram myself for the message of being His child, of being healed, of being loved, of being accepted. So the question this week, today, is what's driving you? What's driving you? What fuels you? To ask it a little bit differently. C.S. Lewis said it like this: God designed the human machine to run on Himself. He Himself is the fuel our spirits were intended to burn, or the food our spirits were intended to feed on. There is no other. That is why it's just no good asking God to make us happy apart from Himself, apart from pursuing Him. God cannot give us a happiness apart from Himself because it does not exist. It is not there. If I want a stable identity, I've got to recognize, I've got to identify, I've got to come out of denial to name the false identity so I can move strategically with the transformation of my mind into my true identity. So what's driving you? Is it success? Is it people's approval? Is it the accumulation of possessions? What's driving you? Identify what's driving you, and you'll recognize what's fueling your false identities. As we come to Him, we want Jesus to be transforming us. One of the beautiful passages that addresses this is 1 John chapter 2, verse 15 and 16. It says, "Do not love the world or anything in the world. For everything in the world, the cravings of sinful man," think about the cravings that we have: cravings for approval, cravings for attention, cravings for wealth, cravings for success. The cravings of sinful man, the lust of his eyes, stuff we see, artificial things we see, that I got to have that, lust of his eyes, and the boasting of what he, listen to this, boasting about two things: what he has. Think about how many of us form our identity on what we have. Boasting of what he has or what he does. Man, John nails it. The person that loves the world instead of having love of God be the driver in him has an identity based on this world. It will prove itself sooner or later always to be inadequate, insufficient to create the stability your heart longs for. Jesus, we trust you today, Lord, to be helping us to identify the things about what we tell ourselves, what we identify with, what drives us or fuels us. Lord, we identify those, we name them as false. And Jesus, we trust you, the only true answer to the need deep within us to know who we are. We love you, Lord. Thank you for your amazing acceptance. Transform our thoughts today because we trust in you. I'll see you tomorrow.